foundation and its beginning. What birthday gift have you received today as the church? The children at the Pentecost party got some balloons and some cupcakes and lots of good fellowship together. For all of us, here's a clue. Remember Jesus' last words to his followers? He said this, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." You will be my witnesses in Silver Lake, and Topeka, and Lawrence, and Manhattan, and to the ends of the earth. The Pentecost story reveals to us what the power we receive looks like. When we open our hearts to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit, we are united in the midst of all of our diversity. Now, you may look around you and think, well, we're not that diverse. Especially today, let me tell you, most of you are wearing red. But we do have differences. We have differences in the way we think and feel, the way we live, the way we work. And we celebrate those differences. And then today we come together and we find that we are also in this relationship through our common spirit. When we claim God's active spirit within us, we have that incredible power to live and love and understand and work together. Well, today is not only Pentecost, it is also June 8th. Some of you in this room say, so? Others of you in this room, it's a date you will never, ever forget. June 8th is the date of the Topeka tornado in 1966. Some of you were not even born yet. On that day, a mighty wind blew. For those who were in the neighborhood, everyone remembers where they were at that time. I was 12, and it was my first tornado warning ever. Some of you remember I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. They rarely ever have a tornado in Phoenix. This was my second summer ever in Kansas, and my first tornado warning. I was with my family in our Topeka home, in the basement, under a table, under blankets. And we listened as the tornado, thankfully, went over our house. But there were many that day who were not near as fortunate. One of them was a man named Paul. Paul was a man who worked with my father on his staff. He was probably in his mid-40s somewhere. He had never been married. He didn't have any children, no relatives in the area, and his house was seriously damaged. And the car windows were blown to smithereens. Paul came over to our house that night, and not only was he devastated by what had just happened to him in his own life, he could not reach his fiancée who lived in Manhattan. There was no electricity, and remember, this was before cell phones, and there had been a report of a tornado there. And in fact, her home had been hit. Ultimately, they finally got a way to get in touch with each other and found that they were both safe. Paul lived with us in our home until his home was put back together again. And then it turned out that my father ended up being the best man in their wedding. It was all kind of fun. A mighty wind blew that day. It was a tough wind. It's not one that we would like to call a Pentecost wind. But the outcome of that day was huge and generous hospitality. Not only me at my young age, but the whole city witnessed the outpouring of love and service to everyone. Now, if those of you who are old enough can think back that far with me, you'll remember that those were rather turbulent years. Not only in Topeka, but everywhere. And Topeka was not exactly unified at that time. There were people who still talked about those who lived on the other side of the tracks. And integration was still evolving. And neighborhoods were very distinct. But on the day that the mighty wind blew, something happened in that time and in that place. That Pentecost Spirit arrived. And a new community was formed. It was based on the gift of hospitality. You see, no matter who you were, or where you lived, or what you looked like, or how you spoke, or what you felt, no matter. People were there to reach out with that Pentecost love and spirit. For me, that's a story of amazing hospitality. The kind of hospitality that is really Pentecost power. It is one way that we live out the gift of the Spirit to us. That hospitality is foundational for what it means for us to be the church. For our church and for our future, it's not simply about leadership or program staff or money or activities or meals. To be the church is about living hospitality, intentionally reaching out and offering relationship to more and more people, not just in times of disaster, but every day. Our hospitality includes people who are not here in the church, people we are not acquainted with yet, people who are different than we are, people who are newcomers. Our hospitality offers the gift of community, to give and receive support, to connect together in relationship, to worship and serve and pray and study together. All of that means being the church. And through being the church and our hospitality, we begin to offer that gift of understanding. When we listen with open ears and open hearts, we welcome differences and we put away judgmental criticism. And through our hospitality, we then create unity. The gift of unity is given by God. It is not an accident. Remember these words. When the day of Pentecost had come, they were all gathered together in one place. We are all here together today, in this time, in this place, as the church. We are empowered by the Holy Spirit, and we are called disciples, for we have the opportunity to make a difference. When we use the power we are given with the Spirit within us, our hospitality spreads the good news of the gospel. We grow in our faithfulness and we reach out to share the good news with all the world. So this week, starting right now, I invite you to feel your Pentecost power. Ask yourselves how you may extend understanding and hospitality to someone you meet, someone you know, someone you may not have met yet. And then write and live the next verse of the Pentecost story. May God empower us as we are the church together. Amen.